Human Janitor opened a hidden door in the alien embassy. Then he found her in a steel cage. The night shift at the Earth Alliance alien embassy was always quiet. Too quiet, if you asked Mason Hale, the janitor. Most people thought his job was just sweeping floors and cleaning up after diplomats from other worlds. But Mason knew better. This place hummed with secrets. The halls glowed with soft violet lights, the air humming faintly with alien technology. Mason had learned to ignore the eerie silence, the way shadows seemed to move even when no one was there. He kept his head down, his mop steady, and his thoughts to himself. Until that night. Started like any other shift. He clocked in, grabbed his cleaning cart, and began wiping down the glass panels that looked more like living skin than plastic. But when he reached Sector 7, an area marked Authorized Personnel Only, he noticed something strange. The light panel on the wall was flickering. Mason frowned and tapped it with his mop handle. The panel blinked, sparked, and then a section of the wall shimmered. What had looked like smooth metal seconds ago rippled, revealing the outline of a hidden door. He froze. He wasn't supposed to see this. But curiosity, it always got the better of him. He looked around. The cameras in this sector were pointed elsewhere. Taking a deep breath, Mason pressed his hand against the panel. The door hissed open, revealing a narrow corridor that descended underground. Cool air drifted out, smelling faintly of ozone and something sharp metallic. He hesitated only a moment before stepping inside. The walls were dark, pulsing faintly as if alive. He followed the faint hum until he reached a sealed chamber. There, lit by a single overhead light, stood a steel cage. And inside it was a girl. Not human, at least not entirely. Her skin shimmered faintly with silver undertones, her hair cascading like strands of light. She wore tattered gray fabric, her knees pulled to her chest. Her eyes snapped open when Mason entered, bright, haunting, almost luminescent. "Who are you?" she whispered, her voice trembling. Mason stepped closer, heart pounding. I'm just the janitor. What is this place? Why are you here?" Her gaze darted toward the corner where a black camera lens glowed faintly red. "You shouldn't be here," she said urgently. "They'll see you." "Who?" "The envoys," she said. "The ones running this embassy. They're not what they seem." Mason's stomach twisted. He'd always thought something felt off about the alien diplomats. Too calm, too mechanical. He lowered his voice. "Why are you in a cage?" She swallowed hard. "Because I wouldn't obey. They call me Lyra. I'm from Irinder, one of their colonies. I was supposed to be an ambassador in training. But when I learned what they're doing to humans..." Her voice broke. "They're experimenting, blending DNA, creating something that can live on both worlds." Mason's breath hitched. "That's insane." "Not insane," she whispered. "Already happening." Before he could respond, footsteps echoed in the corridor outside. Lyra's eyes widened in panic. "Hide!" Mason ducked behind a row of glowing consoles just as the door slid open. Two envoys entered. Tall, pale figures draped in black robes, their skin marked with faint geometric scars. One of them carried a vial of glowing blue liquid. "She is resisting again," one hissed. "Her energy readings drop with every refusal." "Then we'll break her mind," the other replied coldly. "No one escapes protocol." They activated a panel, and Lyra gasped as arcs of energy crackled across the cage. Mason clenched his fists, rage burning in his chest. He couldn't just stand there. When the envoys turned their backs, he spotted a console blinking with alien symbols. He didn't understand the language, but one button glowed red. Red usually meant danger or release. He took the chance. He lunged forward and slammed the button. The lights flickered violently, alarms blaring through the chamber. The cage split open with a hiss, and Lyra stumbled free. The envoys turned, their black eyes widening in fury. Mason swung his mop like a club, striking one square in the jaw. It barely flinched, but it gave him a second to grab Lyra's arm. "This way," he shouted. They ran. The hallway pulsed red as sirens echoed. Alien voices shouted behind them. Mason followed the path he'd come through, dragging Lyra along. Her bare feet slapped the floor, leaving faint silver footprints. "Left!" she cried suddenly. "There's a maintenance vent." They dove inside just as plasma bolts scorched the wall behind them. Crawling through the narrow metal tunnel, Mason's hands shook. "What are they going to do when they find us?" "They won't," Lyra said, her voice steadier now. "If we reach the surface, I can cloak us, but I need open air." They dropped into a storage room, panting. Mason scanned the shelves. Cleaning drones, disinfectant tanks, spare uniforms. He grabbed 2 gray jackets and tossed one to her. "For now," he said with a faint smile. "You're my assistant." She smiled faintly, slipping it on. "Then let's clean up their mess." They slipped out into the night, blending into the shadows of the embassy courtyard. Behind them, alarms still blared. Lyra raised her hand, and for a moment her skin shimmered. Then both of them vanished from sight. Invisible they ran. By dawn, they had reached the river docks on the city's edge. The embassy loomed far behind them like a silent monster. Mason leaned against a railing, trying to catch his breath. "So what now?" Lyra turned toward him, her silver eyes soft but fierce. "Now we find the others. They're more like me, hidden, captured, forgotten. You opened that door for a reason, Mason Hale." He looked at her, at the faint glow beneath her skin, at the strength in her trembling hands. "Guess the janitor's got a new job," he said with a grin. Lyra smiled back. "The universe has funny ways of choosing heroes." And as the first light of dawn touched the water, Mason realized his life had changed forever. He wasn't just cleaning floors anymore. He was cleaning up the universe's darkest secrets. They ran until the embassy was only a shimmer on the horizon. The city lights flickered against the river, and Mason's lungs burned as he leaned over the railing, gulping cool air. Lyra stood beside him, her silver hair reflecting the dawn like liquid light. For a long moment neither spoke. Then Mason asked quietly, "They'll come after us, won't they?" "Yes," she said, her voice soft but certain. "They never let their experiments escape. But they don't understand humans. You fight even when the odds are impossible." He gave a dry laugh. "Yeah, well, janitors see all the dirt nobody else wants to face." Lyra turned to him, a faint smile touching her lips. "Then maybe that's why you were chosen. You opened the door no one else dared to see." Mason looked at her, really looked. She wasn't just some alien prisoner. She was a survivor, a rebel with fire in her veins. And somehow he knew she was right. He hadn't stumbled into this by accident. "So what now?" he asked. "We find the others," she said. "There are more cages. More people, human and alien alike, trapped in the dark. Together we can end it." The words sank into him like a spark catching dry kindling. He straightened, the fatigue in his limbs fading. "Then let's start cleaning house," he said. Lyra reached out, taking his hand. "Welcome to the resistance, Mason Hale." As the sun broke over the skyline, the first rays struck her skin, scattering into 1,000 colors. And in that moment,